Hello, time travelers, and welcome new time travelers. As always, if you're new to this channel and enjoy learning history from around the world, then don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Without further ado, let's get into it. Today we're going to start out in 70 BCE when Virgil, the Roman poet best known for his national epic, the Aeneid, was born near Mantua. Moving on to 879, when Baso convicted the bishops of Providence and had them proclaim him their king. In 839, encouraged by her uncle Leopold, Queen Victoria of England proposed to her cousin Prince Albert. In 1844, classical scholar and philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential of all modern thinkers, was born in Persia. In 1917, Dutch dancer and courtesan Martha Harry was executed by the French near Paris, charged with spying for Germany during World War I. In 1928, some 4 days after leaving Germany, the Graf Zeppelin landed in Lakehurst, New Jersey, completing its first transatlantic trip. 1934 is when the Chinese communists began the Long March, the 6,000-mile or 10,000 kilometer trek that resulted in the relocation of the Communist Revolution base from southeast China to northwest China, and the emergence of Mao Zedong as the undisputed leader of the Chinese Communist Party. 6 years later, in 1940, the comedy classic The Great Director premiered in New York City. Charlie Chaplin's biggest box office success, it satirized Adolf Hitler and Nazism and condemned anti-Semitism. 11 years later, in 1950, the first episode of I Love Lucy aired on American television, the comedy series, which starred Lucille Ball and her real-life husband, Desi Arnaz, which became a classic. 5 years later, in 1956, Emily Henry Gaveau, American journalist, dies in Suffolk, Virginia, at the age of 65. On this day in 1959, a final conference on the Arctic Treaty convened in Washington, D.C., and after 6 weeks of negotiation, the treaty was signed by 12 countries, preserving the continent for free scientific study. 1966 is when Huey P. Newton and Bob Salley found the Black Panther Party. The mission for which it was to protect African Americans from police brutality. It later developed into a Marxist revolutionary group that, among other things, called for arming of all African Americans and releasing of blacks from jail. Moving on to 1969, when President Abdirasi Kausamar Ark of Somali was assassinated. 1987 is when a military coup in Burkina Faso overthrew the head of the state, Thomas Sankara, killing him and 8 others. 7 years before the turn of the century, in 1993, South Africans Nelson Mandela and F.W. de Klerk were named the recipients of the Nobel Peace Prize for their work for the peaceful termination of apartheid regime and for laying the foundation for a new democratic South Africa. 10 years later, in 2003, China became the 3rd country to launch a crewed spacecraft, Shenzhou 5, which was piloted by Yang Liu. It orbited Earth 14 times during the 21-hour flight. And our final event happened in 2018 when American investor and philanthropist Paul Allen, who co-founded Microsoft, died at the age of 65. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. Now, let's head over to the animal kingdom, where duck-billed platypuses don't have nipples. Instead, they concentrate milk to their body or to their belly and feed their young by sweating it out. The milk emerges from pores in the skin of the abdomen, which the platypus puggles then laps up. That's weird. Anyway, now let's head into the science lab, where there might be a cure for evil. Well, a cure for psychopath. Anyway, psychologists argued that the aspect of psychopathy can be cured by configurative behavior therapy, which is said to reduce violent offenses by those with the condition. Preliminary research suggests that computer-based cognitive training could help a psychopath experience empathy and regret too. And with that, if you enjoy learning historical events from around the world, Don't forget to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. I'll see you all in the next one.